was not envisaged. Hello, guys. So I want to first of all apologize. Technology has not been helpful from my end, and the glitches you have observed that has frustrated the training being done on YouTube was not envisaged. And we've tried everything from our end, and unfortunately, this has not come true. So I have to resort to this alternative of doing this. So I plead for your understanding while we find a way around this. So first of all, I told you we're going to go deep into an overview of what this is all about. And this training is for those who want to volunteer as news writers for didactic information hot. So I intend giving you an overview of or some basic knowledge of what this envisages or this entails, and after which we should be able to go into some practical demonstrations of the platform that didactic information uses. So the first concept we are going into is that of volunteerism, which is principle or key to what this training is all about. So when we're talking about volunteerism, we are talking about the practice of doing work for good causes, for good purposes, which necessarily does not involve payment. So it is a practice of doing work for good causes without being paid for it. So you believe in a cause, you believe the cause is genuine, you believe the purpose is right, and even if you are not being paid for it, you go ahead to render your service towards achieving that purpose. So it also refers to the free choice act of an individual or group freely giving time and service. So it is a free choice. Nobody is compelling you. It is not by force. You are freely exercising your right of choice, whether as an individual or as a group, by giving your time and your service to that particular cause which you believe in. So volunteerism also involves voluntary activities. Voluntary is free will. It is not compulsory. Nobody is pushing you to doing it. You believe in it, you love it, and that is why you are involved in that activity as a result of your free will. So it further has to do with someone spending unpaid time doing something to benefit others or the society. So we stated earlier on that it has to do with giving freely your time and your service. So volunteerism also involves that your time and your service that you're putting in for that cause or for that purpose is unpaid, is not paid for, but you believe that it is something that will benefit others or that will benefit the society at large. Now, in a simple term, we could refer to volunteerism as the practice of providing time and skills for the benefit of other people and causes rather than for financial benefit. So when we're talking about volunteerism, you are not centered around what financial gains or benefits that will accrue to you, but you are concerned mostly about putting in your time and your skills for a cause that will benefit the people or will benefit the society at large, even if it does not involve direct financial benefits. So that's the basic around the concept of volunteerism. So we'll go forward to looking at what is media volunteerism. We are bringing it down home to our own niche or our own genre of media. So by media volunteerism, we are looking at the practice of rendering unpaid services via mass communication. Now, by mass communication, we are referring to whether you're rendering that unpaid service through broadcasting, you're rendering that unpaid service through publishing, or you're rendering that service through the internet. And of course, mass communication that involves these three um, categories is regarded collectively, that is, all of them, broadcasting, publishing, and the internet, refers to what we call mass communication or the mass media. So it also has to do with the voluntary service that may be rendered through radio or the television, the newspapers, the magazines, and the internet that can reach or influence people widely. So by media volunteerism, we are narrowing it down to somebody rendering an unpaid service through the mass media or mass communication. And of course, whatever that is made or that is put in the media space has an influence on people that the write-up gets to or reaches. So that is basically what media volunteerism is all about. So this one, of course, you should know that volunteerism can be of different categories. You have what is called community-based volunteerism, where people render community service. You have what we call health-based volunteerism, where people render health services to people, and other categories. We have education volunteerism, where people render education services in terms of teaching and other educational services to the public. So we are narrowing it down to media volunteerism because this volunteerism has to do with the media. And of course, our focus on this has to do with publishing through the internet. And that's where our concentration is going to lie. So we are going further to look at who then is a volunteer. In a simple term, a volunteer is someone who freely offers to do something. It has to do with someone who takes part in an enterprise or undertakes a task or works for an organization without being paid. The underlying thing in volunteerism, which of course comes up also as to who a volunteer is that volunteering has to do with you not being directly paid. So most times what steers people into volunteerism is passion, belief in a particular cause or an enterprise that they want to contribute towards that as a way of reaching a wider people and having a wider positive impact or influence on the people through their works in the media space. So if someone who freely offers to do something, to render a service for which he or she is not expecting to receive direct payment for, is referred or called a volunteer. So we are going forward by looking at what are the benefits of volunteerism. We are going to look at what is the benefit of volunteerism. Now, the first we have is volunteerism provides you with a sense of it gives you that opportunity of self-discovery, because for whatever you put in your efforts into without being paid, it's something that redirects your focus, makes you find a new purpose which you believe in, which steers you into rendering that service, committing to doing that thing, even when you are not basically being paid for it. So it gives your life new meaning and keeps you mentally stimulated. Of course, you know that writing has to do with is a mental stimulating activity, because you have to think, you have to use your senses and use your intellect in communicating through what you write in the media space. So the second benefit is that it helps you to meet new friends. Of course, by this plan, you are going to have access to the didactic information team, some of your fellow volunteers. It will expose you to meeting them. You exchange knowledge, exchange expertise, exchange skills that of course will lead to people learning from each other and improving on their expertise or on their knowledge. So as a volunteer, you will typically interact with people from diverse backgrounds, people who read different courses, people who have different exposures from different geography and different past culture of the country and even beyond. And all of this will allow you to learn other perspectives. You will share a common interest, which will help you build closer relationships with those around you. So that's one of the benefits of volunteerism. Now, volunteerism will also teach you valuable skills. It shapes your skills, it adds to your skills. Some of the things we are going to discuss here, including the practical sessions, will expose and build your skills, which of course you can use for subsequent opportunities and prospects. So volunteerism, the training and the hands-on experience you gain while volunteering, especially for this course, can help you to learn new skills as well as build upon the ones you already have. Now, going forward, volunteerism can also provide you with what we call job prospects. Job prospects in the sense that now the knowledge you get from this opportunity can actually help you in terms of getting recommendations for a paid job. So you don't look at this as, oh, possibly because they are not going to pay you, you're going to opt out of it. It is not just about the money. By the time your skills are sharpened into a more valuable one, the exposure, the mentorship, and of course the additional things you're going to learn from this volunteering can add greater value to you, with which you can be recommended for a better job, a better media job or news writing job, with which you can be paid. So if you choose to pursue a career in the field you are volunteering in, which is the media now, the connections you make also will help to increase your job prospects. So with this, you could be recommended, you could be attested for that you have this knowledge, you have this experience, and of course, you could be hired as a news writer for any reputable organization that will be willing to pay for your service. And that is why you should take the opportunity very seriously. Now, volunteerism also brings fun into your life. By the time you are rendering a service because you are passionate about it, you find an additional reason of doing it because it provides a fun. It is an opportunity for fun for you. You do certain things because of the love you have for it, because you find happiness, joy, and fun in doing that thing. And that is also one thing that volunteerism brings. So many people will use volunteering as a way to pursue their hobbies. So people do this as hobbies. For instance, you ask people what's their hobby, and some people tell you, oh, my hobby is writing. So for somebody whose hobby is writing, having this opportunity to become a news writer will just be seen by such a person as fun. I love writing, so oh, I have this chance to become a news writer. I see it as a way of fulfilling one of my hobbies. And so even if I am not paid, I'm excited because I have an opportunity where I can exercise my hobby, write, people read, people are influenced positively, impacts are made in people's life. I have a platform where I can, write, and I'll have an audience, a larger platform, a worldwide where people can read, get enlightened, and of course, appreciate my skills and my talent in writing. So for such persons, the fun of it is an opportunity with which that pushes them into becoming a volunteer. So volunteering for organizations or causes may provide you with a renewed sense of creativity and motivation that carries over into your personal and professional life. So it stirs you up to become more creative, and of course the more creative you are, the more motivated you are, and that also makes you to grow personally and professionally. If you have any question in between, you can of course be keeping note of that while I will come to that later on. But I think there's a last point that is keeping my screen. I'm going back to that now. And that's the fact that volunteerism can push you out of your comfort zone. Writing is not basically about storytelling. Sometimes it involves you doing research, it involves you confirming certain things. So it has a way of pushing you. Sometimes you have a number of articles, news articles you're supposed to write per day, and so it stresses you professionally. It pushes you out of your comfort zone, and that makes you to become a better person. So you may be faced with various problems to solve as a volunteer that require you to exercise critical thinking. For you to write as a newscaster, as a news writer rather, you have to look at ways of solving problems, and this will require you exercise critical thinking that will aid your personal development. So by the time you think, oh, what else am I going to write on? Which article should I write on? I'm going to make relevant researches to aid my basic knowledge in that thing or in that area. So it has a way of making you think critically, making you improve your personal development. And of course, the last point is that even if we say that volunteerism may not give you direct financial benefits under this scope, you should know that volunteering to become a news writer with didactic information hut can actually give you an indirect financial benefit. This is because didactic information hut is providing you a platform where you can express yourself to the whole world. And so you can be able to tap into that, having that platform free of charge. You can become a contributor, you can become a copywriter, you can become an affiliate marketer, you can even have access to sponsored posts, and you negotiate with the team at Didactic Information Hut on how to go about this, and you will be able to use the platform to do all of these things which can give you financial benefits. For instance, if there's a product that is in the market and I need to write on it as a copywriter, basically I may be sponsored to write that article. So that information hut will provide you a platform. You can be paid for that, and then you use the platform to write about that particular product, to write about that particular thing, and then you receive your money. Even as an affiliate marketer, you can register as an affiliate marketer, promote the product you want to market, and then embed or add the links to where people can click on and buy those products. And of course, for each of those products that are being bought under the article you have written, you will of course be paid some commissions on it. So even if it's not and this actually is a huge financial opportunity, because if you're promoting there are some products that if you promote, anybody who buys it, you'll be given like 10, 12, 15, 20% on any amount of such a product that is bought. So you can imagine you are writing about a product that the amount, for instance, is let's say 35,000, 50,000, or as the case may be, and you are giving 10% of it. And in that article, you are able to get to a larger audience with which you are paid, or with which more people bought it. So for instance, you're able to get like 10, 20 persons buying the product. Taking or being paid 10 or 12% for each of those 20 persons, you can imagine how much that is going to give you. So it's not purely a free service. If you up your game and you are very good at what you are doing, there are opportunities with which you can also have financial benefits while tapping into this volunteering opportunity. So, of course, we are doing this on the didactic information hot block. It is a block that we are using for the information and the news items and all those other things that will broadcast, or that we push aside. So I'm going to open the didactic information homepage so you have a clue of how it looks like. So this is didactic information hot. So it is the website. So you can see we write about so many things, and that is what we are bringing you on board to be a part of. So we have categories of our news. We have politics, where we write on politics. We have jobs, we post job opportunities. We also write about health news. We write about education related news. We write about entertainment news, business news. So this is where all your copywriting stuff, your affiliate marketing stuff, and other things can come in for under the business category. We write about things happening in the society. That's where you have metro. Of course, we also write about sports, and we have opinions and the news, other things that falls under news generally. So that's how an overview of the block, didactic information hot. So what then is a block? A blog, which is the short form of weblog, is an online journal or information website that is run by an individual, a group, or a corporation that offers regularly updated content. Now, these regularly updated contents are what we refer to as blog posts. And the blog post could be about a topic. So one major thing you should notice about a blog is that it has information that is regularly updated. In fact, the information you find on a blog has to be updated on a daily basis. So every day, if you visit a blog, there should be new post that is made on that blog every day, and it has to do with a particular topic. So let's go briefly back to didactic information hot. Let me show you what this means. So for instance, this is one of the blog posts we wrote under entertainment that says former First Lady Aisha Buhari attends 2024 Calabar Carnival. So this was posted this Sunday 29th. So this is a blog post, and this blog post have opened it. This blog post has to do with a particular topic. What is the topic that this is centered on? It's centered around Calabar Carnival. So you can go down and then you see the content, how it looks like, and all other features. So this is a blog post on the blog didactic information hot. So a blog is an information journal where things are updated, topics are updated, contents are updated on a regular or on a daily basis. So what is blogging? You must have been familiar with this. For those of you who are already familiar with blogging or the media and all that. So blogging is the process of managing a blog. So what I've shown you, didactic information hut, is a block. So the process where you manage didactic information hut is actually what we refer to as blogging. It actually has to do with from idea generation to publishing process. So for every blog post or anything you see that is posted on a blog, it begins with idea generation. It starts with an idea. You get an idea that is usually centered around a particular topic, and from that you develop the idea, write on it before you publish it. So from the idea generation process to the publishing process, all of these is what we refer to as blogging. So blogging also includes the necessary tasks people need to run a blog. All the tasks you need to perform in the course of running or managing a blog is what we refer to as blogging. Such activities or tasks might include writing a blog post. It may include promoting it. That's after you write a blog post, you can promote it. There's what we call a paid promotion or a free promotion. For instance, if you are advertising a blog post on another platform where you pay for it, we say that is the paid promotion. But if, for instance, you write a blog post and you simply share it on your WhatsApp status to your friends or on your Facebook status where your friends can see it, that is a free promotion. You necessarily don't have to put money into it. So apart from writing a blog post, blogging also involves you promoting it. Of course, promoting is a huge part of blogging because it increases your audience base. The people who read about what you're writing gets enlarged when you promote what you have written. And of course, it has to do with practicing link building strategies. So when you are writing, a blog post can also include linking. You're linking your content on the post, on the blog post, to either another content within the blog or to a content outside the block. That's what we call external linking. So if you're linking to a resource outside the block, we refer to it as external linking. And if you're linking to a page or another article that is on a particular blog, we refer that to as internal linking. So it has to do with writing a blog post, promoting it, and practicing link building strategies. All of these fall under what we call blogging. Now, of course, you should know that somebody who ordinarily blogs or puts something on a blog is referred to as a blogger. He owns the blog or writes on the blog or updates the blog. He or she is referred to as a blogger. Now, how do you get the things that you write on a blog? That's what we're looking at. Blog sources. How do you get things that you post on a blog? Now, one of the ways you can get things you post on the blog is current events around you, news around you, and sometimes you don't need to go far. These things don't need to be far-fetched, because sometimes the things that actually go viral most times are the very little simple things that happen within your neighborhood, within your community, within your reach. Because if you say you are targeting some of the national issues, of course you will have those very big platforms like the major newspapers and all that to be fighting with. For instance, if something happens concerning the president, you should of course know that so many other popular newspapers will push it up. And so you will have to be struggling with intense competition for your own content to actually find a way of surviving. But if something happens on your street, within your neighborhood, in your community, in your church, in your mosque, in your society, in your club, in anywhere very close to you, sometimes when these things happen, the public will be interested in these things. But most of these big competitors like the major newspapers, they may not be on ground or have anybody that will be on ground to pick up those news. And when these things get to the media space, there are ordinary people who find interest in these things and follow up these things, which of course can become a good part of your audience. So a source of where you can get things to write about on the blog is through current events. Current events, you have to be very fast about it. Current event has to do with timeliness. It has to do with breaking news. It has to do with what is reigning. It has to do with what is not stale, what is not in the past. For instance, if something happens today and you are coming to write about it 3 days after or 2 days after, of course you know that what you're writing, people will not even be interested in it any longer, because of course everybody must have heard about it, read about it, they are aware of it. So you writing about it is basically of little or no significance. So current events means you have to be current as it happens. It's more like breaking news. By the time everybody is trying to find out, what has happened to this, what is happening to this, we heard there's an incident that happened in Sokoto. How many persons were killed? Did anybody die? Was there a bomb blast there? What about Lakurawa? What's happening over there? What's happening? We heard there were some defections in the National Assembly. Is it Labour Party people that defected? Is it PDP that defected? Is it APC? So people are interested in these things because it is a current event. So when you cash in on these things, write about it, it becomes a source of information and news item for you. Now, the second thing we're talking about on how you can get things to write on a blog is through interviews. You can conduct interviews on key personalities, and these things may not just have to be the very big persons, because you may not, for instance, have access to the big persons depending on your level or of your exposure and interactions. But there are, like I said, there are some of these little things happening around us. Maybe a very talented young guy, young lady, personality in your neighborhood. The person is good at a particular skill. You don't even need to write a letter to him, or you can just walk up to him and say, this guy is very good at doing this particular thing, so let me just engage him, find out about him. So you conduct an interview with the person, and the responses of that person from that interview becomes a basis for you to write your blog post. So from the interactions you have with the person through the interview, you should be able to get a caption and of course develop the body of your blog post or your news article. Now, the third thing we're looking at is one's thoughts. We've said it earlier on that the things we write about it begins with idea generation. So you could have an idea, a thought comes into your head, you develop it, expand it, elaborate on it, give it all the necessary ingredients it requires until it becomes a full-fledged article, and then you write on it. For instance, today, I pondered upon a concept called carnivorous dieting. That's an idea. That is a concept. So what do? Have I heard about that before? Has any of you guys heard about what they call carnivorous dieting? If I have not heard of it, or I know or I have a basic knowledge about it, I could just go do a little research on it, and then I develop a content on it based on my thoughts. So how do I go about it? I may start from what is carnivorous dieting, what is a history, what kind of food falls under carnivorous dieting, what is the benefit of carnivorous dieting, is there any negative side of carnivorous dieting. I look at by the time I put all of these ideas, all these thoughts together, I must have gotten a complete full-fledged article that I can write on that particular topic. So for you to be a news writer, we've talked about creativity. You have to be creative. You have to think. Because some of these things you write about, it is how germane, how genuine, how authentic, how creative your thoughts are. that will determine how rich your content is all about and how attractive it will become. So you can actually get ideas from your thoughts, expatiate on it, develop it further into a full-fledged article, and with that, you should be able to write the things that you are going to post on the blog. Now, of course, we also have relevant forums. Forums are what people could also refer to as discussion. Is a blog or a website where people discuss. They ask questions. They pop up different things, different topics. So you can actually go to the relevant forums, find out what are they talking about, what kind of questions are they asking, and then you provide an answer, a comprehensive answer to that question. Let's say people are talking about artificial intelligence in a particular area. Let's say when it comes to content writing, use of artificial intelligence in content writing. Once you know that people are talking about this in relevant forums, you can pick up that idea from there, and then go home and develop a comprehensive article that provides answers to all of these questions that these people are asking or inquiring about. Apologies. Are inquiring about. Um, and then, so once you do that, excuse me, my system has locked off, so let me log in back. Okay, so thank you. So once you get what the people are asking about, you go ahead, provide answers by writing on those things and ensuring that your news article or your article on that particular topic provides relevant answers to the things that they are asking about or talking about. So that's actually one way you can actually get content for the blog. And of course, social media. There are a lot of opportunities and things that people can talk about, write about from the social media. Each time you open X or Twitter, you always see things that are trending. Every social media has a special trend. If you go to Twitter now, if I log on to Twitter now or X and I check what is trending, I will see what's trending in Nigeria as that today. They will tell me, oh, this thing is trending in Nigeria, this and this is trending, this and so with that. And of course, when something is trending, it is newsworthy. That is where it's like wave. As news writers, you will follow the wave. What people are interested in, that is where you should concentrate on, because that is where they will be searching. And when you write something that is an answer to what people are asking about, of course, it increases your audience, because when they search for these things, they will find you, and of course, you will be read, and of course, your reach will become wider. So if you go to social media, go to X, you see what people are talking about. Go to Facebook, you see what people are asking, what is trending. If you go to Google, you will see what people in various countries are searching for, what is their interest. And that can actually become a source of the things you write. Now, let me do a little practical on this, on what I mean by Google, what I mean by how you can get this, especially Google. Now, if I want to find out what Nigerians are talking about or interested in from Google, I will go click on what we call Google Trends. So I'm going to search Google Trends now. So you can see it, I've searched it, Google Trends, and I will click on it. Once I click on it, just be checking. Once I click on it, it opens, say explore what the world is searching for right now. So what do? It will limit me basically to my country. So you can see here, we have Nigeria. Nigeria is showing here now. So it tells you that what is showing me is basically what Nigerians are interested in and are searching for. So I'll go over to this place where I saw trending now. That means as at this moment, these are the things Nigerians are interested in. If I click on trending now, it will show up all the things that people are going on Google to search for. And it will also show me the volumes of these things, how many people are actually searching for these things. So if you can see the screen, you will see where they are saying Nigerians are actually checking for West Ham and Liverpool match. That's West Ham versus Liverpool match. And look at this. This has 50,000 people are interested in this topic. We also have Leicester City and Man City. What about this? A whooping 100,000 people are searching for this, and it's just in 8 hours, so it's still fresh. So a lot of all of other this, you have all of this going, so you can continue to search. It shows you the first 25 topics. You can continue to search by keep going down, going down. You can check for the past 24 hours. It also has categories. You can check for different categories. For instance, you can see we have autos, vehicles, beauty, fashion, uh, business and finance, climate, entertainment, food, games, health, hobbies, all of these things. So you can channel your efforts as to what. Now, for instance, let's check politics. I'll click on politics now, and you see that in politics, people are talking about BBC Hausa Live. So you can find out what was, is there an interview that the BBC Hausa version had? Who did they have the interview with? People are interested, the Hausa audience are interested in this, and so this can also become a source of what you write on. So if you copy, find out about this. So if I click on it, it will give me details. So you can see now it's giving me, I've clicked on it and it's giving me details what the interview is all about. So you're seeing it there. I don't know how to read Hausa, but it's showing Abubawa, the Kefarua, stuff like that, and you're seeing the date beside it. So it means this was published in BBC Hausa. So if you click on it, get what the story is all about. And of course, even if you don't understand Hausa, you can actually copy this Hausa language, take it to Google Translate, and it will translate it for you in English language. So you can get what the gist is all about, and you can develop and write on it. So this is one of the ways you can actually, or one of the sources you can actually get things to write about your blog post. So if you do the same thing on X, you can see what people are talking about. Do the same thing on any other social media, Facebook, you know what's trending at any particular time, and then you can write on it and make good use of that as where you can get things to post in your blog post. Now quickly, we are continuing with what do you need for you to become a news writer. What do you need? This may not be exclusive, but we are just looking at some of the things that you need. And of course, one of those things you need is what we call time. Blogging requires time. News writing requires time. So you have to devote your time to whatever you are to write about. You have to develop the idea, develop the content that you are going to write. Read it, write it, proofread it. That's, you have to read it over again. Make sure that it is devoid of any grammatical error. Go through it again before you publish. Now, time also comes in because of what I say, news has to do with relevance. If something happens today and you don't know of it and you're writing about it 2 days after, it is a staged news. People will no longer be interested in it, and whatever you're writing may not even pop up or have any chance of being seen. So it means for you to do well, you have to be time conscious. It's more of as it happens. That is how you are posting it. So once it happens, you post. As it happens, you post. As it happens, you post. And for you to do that, you have to have the time. You have to be available. You have to be current. You have to be on the move. Have your sources. Whenever something happens, you have to be aware. And once you are aware that something has happened, create the time to write about it and publish it. So it requires time. But what you can do with time, you can manage your time effectively. But basically, it involves time. The second thing you will need is you will need a phone or a laptop. If you have a laptop, fine. But if you have a phone, you are still good to go. You will use the phone to access the block, and of course, you can also use the laptop to access the block. So for instance, I am sharing my screen from the laptop. So if I go back to where we have the didactic information blog post, I will be able to access it from here. And with that, if I want to write, I can simply just write from here. This is didactic information. You can see it from here. So I will just be, this is the background, the back end. So I can be able to access it and do everything I want to do from here. At the same time, I can also be able to access it from my phone. So that's why I said you will either need a phone or a laptop. So if you don't have a laptop, a phone is good. In fact, phone is flexible. So for me, I could actually be in transit, either on my way going to somewhere, and I see something that I think is newsworthy, and I just bring out my phone from my pocket, access the blog, write the things I want to write, and publish it on the go. And when I'm done, I put it back, I put my phone back in my pocket, and I posted what I wanted. So phone gives you that flexibility. But a laptop, of course, has its benefits as well. And of course, the next thing you will need is an internet. So these days, of course, people have, once you have a phone, the phone should be internet enabled. So for me, I have my own my file and other sources of internet I use. But of course, you just need a basic source of internet or connectivity for which you will be able to block. Now, the next thing you need to do is knowledge. Knowledge is important. And that is why for you to be a news writer, you must have some level of education. If you are not educated reasonably, you will not be able to do well as a news writer. You will not be able to do well as a news writer. You need to be educated. You need the knowledge, because apart from the fact that you may have to write some news, there are some articles that you need to write that are usually dependent on your knowledge. For instance, if I want to write on a topic that is more professional or that requires professional knowledge, it is the knowledge I have that will help me to develop the things I want to write about. For instance, if I want to write the process of establishing a company in Nigeria, from my background, it will help me a whole lot. So even if I am doing any further research, I will be doing that to just confirm if what I know before there are any changes to that, and how to ensure that whatever I'm writing is current, is updated, and it reflects the current reality. So knowledge is important, and that is why in anything you're doing, you need to be knowledgeable. If you don't know something, you can't talk about it. If I don't have a knowledge of blogging, or if I've not been doing it, if I don't know all of these things, I wouldn't even be able to explain, train, or teach these things the way I am doing now. And that's how it is with everything. You need the knowledge. Even for you to become a news writer, there are technicalities involved, there are intelligence involved, there are knowledge that you need to acquire that will help you to actually be good at what you do. You need to know how to compose what you're going to write, how to use the right tenses, how to use the right punctuations, how to do certain things that will bring out. Once you write something and somebody reads it, somebody will not you will not chase people from the platform because of your writing things that is not correct, because you don't know or you're not knowledgeable about it and you didn't do your research properly. So these things have implications. So knowledge is important. You need to have basic or sufficient knowledge in any area. And of course, the beauty about news writing is that a news writer should have versatile knowledge. Versatile knowledge means you should have more than the basic knowledge in certain things. So in every area, you should have at least a fundamental knowledge, a foundational knowledge in almost everything. So as it stands, I can write on health, I can write on business, I can write on technology, I can write on anything virtually, because of course I have at least a basic knowledge on those things. So if I research a little on any area or anything I want to write on, I should be able to put things together and be able to come up with something that even a professional in those areas will read and will not necessarily fault or see the loopholes in what I have written. So knowledge is key and extremely important. Now the next thing is English proficiency. Fundamentally, what we are writing in our local languages. If you are Hausa, we are not writing in Hausa language. So we are writing in English. If somebody is an Hausa reader, they may want to maybe translate it. There are ways you can easily translate those things to any language you want to and read. But the basic thing we are writing is in English. So you must be able to have the necessary proficiency or command in English language. So you must get your tenses right. You can't be using past tense where you're supposed to use present tense. You cannot be using present continuous tense when you're supposed to use past tense. For instance, let me go back to one article on didactic information hut and use it as an illustration. Where did I open that didactic information hut? Let me use this as an illustration for us. So let's use this as an illustration for us, didactic information hut. So I thought it was here. Okay, it's here. So let me open this and use this as an instance. So see what we are doing now. So I'm going to open the page and then just get. So this is one article I wrote this evening on politics. You will get a desired response from my boss. Winke's aide threatens Odili. So I'm going to click on this and it opens. So I'm going to read possibly the first paragraph of this, and then I will be able to maybe twist the paragraph of what this is all about, and then so you understand what I mean by this. So this is saying Larry Olayinka, the media aide of Nyesom Wike, has threatened a former governor of Rivers State, Sir Dr. Peter Odili, saying that he, Odili, should expect a desired response from his boss, Wike. Now, imagine if I now say Larry Olayinka, the media aide of Nyesom Wike, have threatened a former governor of Rivers State. That's rubbish. You cannot say have, because have is plural, and the right thing we are supposed to use there is has. So if I come here to say have threatened, if somebody that is intelligent enough is reading this post, they will be able to know that, look, what kind of write-up is this? Who is writing this kind of thing? And there are persons that wrong English or wrong grammar chases them from any post, like a smelling rat. So once they come to a platform, they are reading, and then they notice that you can't even get your basic tenses right, they go off the page. So you can see the next paragraph. Olayinka was reacting to a statement by Dr. Odili during a Christmas ballad organized by himself in honor of Governor Siminalaye Fubara and his family. During the event, Odili had said that Governor Fubara courageously stopped Wike from making Rivers State his private estate. So if any of these tenses or grammar in this write-up is wrong, you will be disappointing the readers, because of course the media educates. When people read news articles like this, they learn new things, they learn new words, they learn new tenses. And that's why, if you recall, in those days when people were smaller, maybe in secondary school, you observe that they usually expose them to reading newspapers as much as they study the dictionary. Because the idea is that when you read newspapers, you learn new things, learn new words, you develop your vocabulary, and you improve in your English speaking skills. So your proficiency in English is very, very important. And of course, don't forget, I have also said that there is a need for you to write and read or proofread what you have written. Because if you simply write, sometimes the speed of your sense or what you have in your head may be going differently to what your hands are typing on your phone or on your laptop. And that is why when you're done with writing the news article or any particular article you want to write, you must give it some time to read it first before publishing it. Because the moment you publish it and it goes live, it must have been read by people or by someone before you could come back to say you want to edit or correct what you might have written. So English and being good at English is important. And of course, the last thing I have on my list here under this is the social media. You need the social media because, like I told you, promoting whatever you're writing is crucial and a part of the blocking process. So when you write anything and you publish it, your first set of audience that you can actually get can be your friends on social media. So when you write an article, you can copy the link. For instance, let me take you to, so for instance, this, I have written this post. I can come here and copy this link, Control C, because I'm using a laptop. If it's your phone, you can just use. And then I'll come to any of my social media page. Assuming it's on Facebook, I'll just copy this link, go to Facebook, and paste it on the normal place I used to write let's say I want to post my status on Facebook. I'll just post this link and post it and publish it. So once I post it on Facebook, all my friends, if I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, there's a possibility that all of them or some of them will see this particular post. And if they are interested in it, they will click on it and they will read it. So once writing is not about, you are not writing for yourself, you are writing for an audience. And so if you write and you are able to get more people to read what you write, the better it is for you. And don't forget that I've also talked about opportunities you have to make money indirectly. So if you publish your post on social media platforms or share it to any other platforms you want to share, it actually improves your chances of getting more people to subscribe, read, buy, or take whatever action you would have wanted them to take. So if you don't copy this link from here, you can actually use any of these icons. So you can see this, there's a Facebook icon here. If I click on this, it will directly take me to Facebook and I will just share it. If I click on X, it will take me directly to Twitter or X. I can share this. If I click on the WhatsApp icon, it can actually take me to WhatsApp and I will share it to all my friends or to my WhatsApp status. So you can do that to LinkedIn, Pinterest, Reddit, and all the other social platforms that you can do social sharing directly from here. So the social media is important, very, very important. In fact, it is one of the few areas where you can start selling yourself, spreading your news articles, and galvanizing audience for your write-ups. So, okay, I'm supposed to go into the practical session, but I remember something that I just want to add at this point, and that is that there are key don'ts that you should bear in mind when blogging. One of those don'ts, which I can easily remember, is you are not supposed to do copy and paste. Copy and paste is terrible. It is something you should not try. It will make your write-up not to be seen. It will make the blog post not to come up in terms of ranking, and it will come with other negative, bad effects. So don't say, oh, you see somebody write something, you just copy it, and then you just come to the blog and post it. No, that is a no, no, no. It doesn't happen that way. The best and the permissible thing you can do is possibly do a paraphrase, do a rewriting, do a rejigging. For instance, if I can get any article from anywhere, and I will rewrite the article in such a way that you will not be able to accuse or say I copied and pasted, because I will change almost everything. I will rewrite it completely. So that is allowed. But for you to say you want to go and you see something somewhere and you want to copy it directly and just paste it, you cannot go far with that. Your item, your article will not go far, because it is the unique perspectives to news that people get that makes them to read it. Sometimes if I see a news, of course, if something happens, let's say the president presents the budget for next year, almost all the major platforms, news platform, will publish it. But if you go through that of one particular newspaper or news site or another one, the beauty of it is that you should be able to see a different perspective, something different. The point, or even from the headline, you should be able to know the way this person captioned their own is different from the way this newspaper captioned their own. And so that gives them a unique quality. And that is what stands them out. That's what will also help audience or the readers to decide on which aspect of it they should go for and which one they should not go for, be interested in. So if I see, let's say, 10 papers, 10 news sites with different captions for a particular story, of course, and you're asked to pick one, you will be able to go for a particular one. You'll be able to settle for a particular one. Why? Because there must be something about it that attracted you to that particular one. And that is basically what we are talking about. So once that is done, it means that you have been able to be attracted to it. So avoid copy and pasting. It is absolutely wrong. Now, the second thing is that I've also said it earlier on, time is of essence. You must be fast, especially if a news breaks, something is happening currently. You should be able to write on it at the speed or as it is breaking. Write about it, so that, because that is when people will be interested in it, that is when people will be finding out about it, that is when people will be interested in knowing what that is all about. So be very fast. Speed in reporting is also important. And I think I've also talked about the issue of getting your tenses correct, getting the English correct. So we'll do with that. Possibly if there are questions or any further clarifications, I will come to that later on. So let's quickly go into the practical sessions. So for us to go to the practical session, I'm going to click on the back end. This is the block. That's what outsiders can see. But there is a back end where, as a writer, I access, and I'm able to do all the things I need to do. And this is how it looks like. So this is how it looks like. So it's open for me like this because, of course, I'm the grant contributor here. So what I'm going to do for the rest of you is, if by the time you're done with this, you have decided, have agreed to be part of what we're doing at Didactic Information Hut, and you want to be part of the team by volunteering as a news writer, I will be getting your confirmation for those of you who still want to be part of this at the end of this training. I will be getting your emails. When I get your emails, I will invite you. I will invite you to I will invite you via email so that you can have access to this this back end, with which you should be able to write for us and publish. So let me just do a quick practical session on this. If you can see my screen, I just want to show you how this can be done. So I'm going to click on writing first. So this is on writing. Okay, this is on writing. I think what I need is not under writing. What I need is not under writing. Please follow me while I navigate around this. Discussion, I don't think so. Reading. Okay, so let me check general first. Let me click on general first. I'm trying to trace where I need to invite. Okay, so this is it. So what I'm going to do now is, for those of you that will be interested or confirming your interest in joining us, I will get your email, the email address with which you want to have access to the platform, and then I will invite you and give you I will give you so you can see this place where they said, if you can see my screen where they said there's an email address. This email is used for admin purposes and all that. So I will get your email address and then I will invite you. So when I invite you, I can decide on which role to give you. Of course, you won't be a subscriber. You can either be a contributor, an author, either a contributor or an author. So I will designate you as a contributor, and then once I do that, you will be able to get an email in your an automatic email in your mailbox indicating that you have been invited to become an author or a contributor to Didactic Information Hut, and then you will accept. Once you accept the invite, if you log on to this now, so what you log onto will be like the infohut.com/wp dash dash admin. So if you click, if you type this, I'm trying to highlight it, that's this like this, that's theinfohot.com/wp dash admin